Hey there, Steve Avery with another installment of Capital Markets Investor Relations in 2 minutes or less. Today we're going to talk about valuation and the idea of the art of framing the pitch for investors. And it starts with the premise that Greg Maddux was always able to get a strike call for a pitch 3 to 4 inches off the outside corner. And it was because of his pinpoint control and accuracy with most pitches and having Eddie Perez, the catcher, there to frame the pitch. Framing the pitch and having consistency made umpires buy in to an optimal outcome for that pitch. So how does an investor relations officer frame the pitch for investors? Well, my process starts with the idea of reviewing the investor and earnings materials. Then it involves understanding and learning the underlying business. Then it's about talking to the buy side and sell side. And finally, it's identifying the key debates facing the stock. And if you're doing items 2 through 4 on this list, they're going to optimize the outcomes for your earnings and investor materials. And so how do you actually frame the pitch? Well, you have to provide relevant information, contextual narrative, and financial expectations management. And if you're optimizing across these 3 items, you're going to generate the investor buzz that you want to get the stock working and going up over time. So if you're an investor relations officer that wants to be Greg Maddux and frame the pitch, there's 5 keys that you need to remember. And the first is listening. Are you listening to your investors and your management? Are you understanding both the questions being asked, the questions being implied, and you're able to understand how management answers those questions and identify what is good and bad about those answers? Next is, do you have a good investor presentation that simplifies the business and allows an analyst to launch on the stock in a weekend? Next is earnings materials. Do your earnings script, earnings release, and earnings deck all tie into one another and tie into the overarching narrative that was set at an analyst day or in your investor deck? Fourth, this is often overlooked, which is having a robust discussion of your competitors and industry set. The more thoughtful discussion you can drive here, the more credibility you'll get from investors. And fifth is frameworks. Are you providing the right frameworks around the key debates facing the stock and the key valuation inputs for the stock? If you're simplifying and optimizing across these 5 levers, you're going to get a full and fair valuation over time. Thanks for watching. Always here to help with your capital markets, investor relations, and corporate finance needs.